I don't know if a lot of folks have seen Killer Queen Black because Zkent usually mentions that's one of the games that's like kind of an inspiration for Catalyst Black. Um, the cool thing about Killer Queen Black is it's a self-contained game of, I believe, 4v4. And the idea of Killer Queen Black that makes it really interesting is there's three ways to win any match at Killer Queen Black. You can win it through economy. Basically, there are these berries that are on the screen. If you collect and filled up your berry stash, you win. Military, if you kill the queen 3 times on the opposing team, you win. Or something called a snail victory. There's a giant snail on the screen, and it plays almost like a tug of war. Whoever gets on the snail is actually making the snail move forward towards a finish line. There's 2 finish lines, one for the gold and one for the blue. And the funny thing is, like, if you're not on the snail and you're a blue character, and if you try to jump in front of the snail will eat you. Um, the only characters you have are queens and drones, and the drones are basically the guys are the only people who can pick up the berries. But the drones have also another interesting feature. They have the ability to upgrade their speed, um, their class into a warrior where they can fight. And there's also a defender version of that, and there's one that you can also give yourself shields. But the interesting thing about when you're in warrior mode, you can't pick up berries anymore. So it's a very interesting game because at first, when I first started watching it, it made no sense. And then once I figured out that there was 3 ways to win it, that game became 100 times more exciting. And when you're watching people play, there's 3 or 4 things you could be watching at the same time. It's like almost impossible for one person to actually watch a Killer Queen Black game and cast it. You actually need to have 2 people. One person watching economy, one person watching military. Because at any time, either one of those could win. And if you have people who are really good at doing the economy part, the military can still just at the end steal the win. And you're just like, holy crap, I didn't expect that. Um, but I was thinking, like, in Eventide, what if there was something like that? Instead of like being like you could have a dominating victory, right? There are points in Eventide where you can take over all 6 outposts, right? But instead of just taking all 6 outposts, it would be taking all 6 outposts and destroying the opposing team's overseer. The reason I say that is it's the overseer is like a really gigantic boss for the opposing side. The two Imperial Guardians are imposing bosses on the other side too. So if you can take out those 3 bosses and take control of all 6 outposts in the map, that should be something like a dominating victory. Like that's another way you could possibly win the game. It'd be really interesting because it would add a level of importance to the overseer and would add a level of importance to also holding at least one outpost. Because if you just let currently, I use the overseer to win matches, but currently, unless I'm playing with like veteran players or stuff like that, there are certain people who don't defend it. And when you have more people on the map, it becomes a game where there's multiple ways to win. Besides the 30,000 points, I can also beat you by destroying all of your boss type creatures and dominating the whole map, just having every outpost. And it would force people to not ignore outposts. It would force people also not to ignore the overseer. It would make sense then when people are actually protecting the Imperials. Because as long as you have an outpost and as long as your overseer is still standing, you can't straight out lose. And it's basically, if a team is super strong and they're dominating you through events, they're outscoring you in almost everything, but yet you're able to take out every outpost and their overseer and you win that way, that gives the game another form of strategy, another way you can push to actually get a win. I think it'd be a little bit more interesting because then it's not just running shards, it's not just winning events, it's not just um, what do you call it, scoring really fast. Even though, like I said, the new Eventide is really cool, I miss the fact that you don't have the events don't rotate anymore, which was kind of cool. You could actually play events multiple times. I get it. You don't want the game to go too long, but that would also give you, like I said, another um, set of strategy to work in. Because right now, it almost seems ridiculous once one team is by the third event and you're over 15, 16,000 points. Or I actually came into a game where by the third event, the other team had 21,000 points and I had 5,000 points. It was a 7v6. I think I don't know when the seventh player came on our side, but it was a 7v6. It's the only time I've ever come back from a major deficit and win. I can come into the game if it's less than 10,000 apart and might be able to win it, but it's also very rare. It's if you're entering the third phase or the third event or the fourth event and you have like this really high lead, you can't come back in this game. It's the one of the bigger problems is the overseer takes far too long to come out. Back in the original Eventide, the overseer came out at 9,300 on both sides. Whoever hit 9,300, overseers just popped up. And I actually like the idea of them staggering based on points. 9,000 is a little bit too low, but I think somewhere between 12,500 and maybe 15, somewhere in that range, the overseer should pop up to give the other team a chance to literally have a long time to deal with it. Because if that team you're playing is at 3,000 points and you're at 17,000 points, they gotta wait till you're at 20 and then they're at like 4 and then they're supposed to come back somehow. It's not gonna happen. It's just not feasible. Is as long as there's a low level of players, like what's really weird about this new Eventide is compared to the old one, even if I was playing a 1v2 back in the day, it could be hard, but I could still possibly win. In this game, if I'm playing two competent people and it's a 1v2 and they have that lead, there's no way to win. It's impossible. It's just not possible. If I'm playing a competent 1v1 and that person has that lead and I came in late and they have like over a 10,000 point lead and we're entering Flashpoint or Arena, I most likely will not win either. It's the problem lies in you need to do too many things at once to win. Like once Final Harvest starts, I have to hold at least 4 outposts, and when the lead is that high, I need to kill every major objective on the screen and hold 4 outposts simultaneously. You can't do it. I don't care who you are. It's not possible. I've tried. I've tried many times. I've lost every time. You're literally at a 5% chance of winning or less. Somewhere maybe 2.5 to 5% maximum. And 95% of the time you will lose. There is nothing to do about it. Where I'm saying old Eventide, because of the way the game rolled and I have like simple rules and certain things I had to do, even if I was losing every event, all I had to do at Final Harvest was hold 4 outposts the whole time. No matter what else they're doing, if I hold 4 outposts through the whole rotation of Final Harvest, I was gonna win. It didn't matter. It's the reason is back in old Eventide, even if the person's score was going up, it wasn't bringing them closer to winning. It just was delaying your inevitable win or their inevitable loss. Your score didn't make you win. Your score only kept the game going. That was all the score did. That's why depleting the opponent and you keeping your score going up while you can't killing stuff and doing things, that's why that Eventide strategically is still more complex than this one. This one I can win not even killing the overseer. I only have to get him down by 2 bars. If I kill enough things and put myself at 27,200 and something. I don't even have to kill the overseer to win. I don't have to get 5,000 points. I only need to about 2,500. It's the exact same thing when I kill the core behemoth. If I'm at 27,500, if I pick up 10 crystals, I'm gonna win. It doesn't even matter if I hold outpost or not. Because the reason is, all I have to do is keep my score going up. There is no way for the opposing team to stop me from winning by increasing my score. Where before, since I was trying to remove your score, you could not win by keep stacking your score up. You couldn't win. That's not winning. You're just delaying. In this version, all I have to do is just push my score up and I'll win. So that's the difference. That's why I'm asking for maybe if they could create a secondary way of winning. It would be a very interesting way to make the eventide feel more strategic, and it would give the ability for you to push other objectives. It would force people to start guarding things. It wouldn't be logical to let somebody get all 6 outposts. It wouldn't be smart to let somebody kill your overseer outright. It wouldn't be smart to let people take out your Imperials. I do not understand how anybody else plays this game, but I come into the game all the time, and like if I go into 10 games, I'll finally find maybe 8 games where both Imperial Guardians are still standing and we're entering Flashpoint. It doesn't even make sense to me. Like, the first thing I do when I come in is I remove the Imperials. The way I play it nowadays is I try to win the first event. After I win the first event, because they delayed when they're going to delay when the Meganaut buff is out, the double damage buff. It used to come in the first event after 51 seconds. So the first event, I don't know if it was 2 minutes or a minute and a half, but I know that the Meganaut buff came in the 51st second. It would start popping up all over the screen. Now you have to finish the first event, and as the first event is ending, about 20 seconds after that, the first Meganaut buff pops up. So right after that, I get the Meganaut buff and I start clearing out Imperials. Like, literally, that's the pattern. And I don't understand, like, if people play, to me, if you're playing correctly, you are not leaving Imperials on the screen. It doesn't make sense for them to be there. It's just weird. Like, it's not something people do. They're running around doing shards, they're running around doing everything, but it doesn't make sense. Like, let me just show you real quick. I can't play this build in there. I'm actually going to be playing whatchamacallit, Core Rush. Trying a few different builds in there. The thing I found out in this game is the Spirit Well still works really well. Spirit Well still has, even though they nerfed it hard, Spirit Well still can transform you from Primal within a blink of an eye. You can become a Primal super fast. Gotta change the mod here. It's the speed version. The thing I don't get, well, I understand why I went to percentage. Yeah, this makes sense why I went to percentage. I still think it could be a little stronger, but it's decent. People say it sucks. To me, it makes sense. It only generates health when you hit something. It was kind of weird where it wasn't. And the reason 14% makes sense, now when you drop a mortar on somebody and you take 14% of like your 2,000 or 3,000 damage, you're getting a good amount of health back, which is decent. Compared to before, you weren't getting pretty much anything. You were getting 120, no matter what you did. So it's kind of nice when you go into percentage. It gives you a lot more health back. I only say it should be a little higher because still for mortars, I think if a mortar hits and you're doing like 2,000, 3,000, I think you should get like a 500 heal. Like you should get something like almost 20% of it. I don't think 14% really makes that much sense. But I mean, it helps me out in the Renegade, but it also helps out mortars. Yeah, I'll stick with my. It's funny. The reason why I use this is it requires less aiming out of all of the guns. It's the only gun that doesn't really require manual aiming, and you use manual aiming to help supplement your attack. But the thing about the Brighton is when you're using the flamethrower, the bots are way better at dodging the flames than they used to be. They literally would dance on the outside of the flame, and you're not hitting them at all. And I don't understand how they can dodge it so well. The only way the flame works is the flamethrower is weird. The flame will disappear, but the damage is still active for about a second or half a second after the flame is no longer on screen. That's how I kill things. People run into an area where the flame used to be and die. It's a very weird concept, but that's how it basically works. But so if you're playing Eventide, like to me, it's such a strange thing to come into an Eventide game where there are people actually playing and to see both of your Imperial Guardians on and both of their Imperial Guardians on. It doesn't make sense to me. It's just the weirdest thing. So if you're just looking for strategy in it, the reason I go south is they have the most resources on the bottom for getting your primal. So the reason you want to get your primal, and the reason I'm using Isia plays like a siege engine. So what will happen is, what I have to do is, since I can't get double damage right away, I have to get Isia ready. So if I need to take the top outpost or the central fortress where we know that the wild surge is going to happen, if I have to take one of those two out, I will have a primal in pocket ready to help me to do that. Seriously? Everything got either clemency vow or protection. Super annoying. So if you notice, it's very efficient using a flamethrower and clearing those out. 33 seconds to it. This is really why I do this early farming in the beginning for shards. If there weren't a lot of stuff on the bottom, I really wouldn't care. But south is always the best way to go to get primal as fast as you can. It was really weird. Like, this to me, like, this was the part I always found that was so strange. There was one player, he did not like the fact that primals were easy to get. I played a mode where they didn't give you any of the cooldown for killing the monsters, which was a mistake. It helps newer players, but I still went and got the primals just like before. It didn't change the fact that I always went and got the primals. So what I do is I always take a speed burst so I can come in and then do this. So this always happens. Like, if you do it right, even if I lost a lot of health, I'm able to just jump in, get a pentakill, or get quad kills, but definitely clear out the outpost. So now this 8 seconds. I can leave here and I'll automatically win this event because with the 8 seconds left, it takes around 12 to 15 seconds to capture an outpost. It takes about 15 seconds to capture it by yourself. But if you have people, you can bring it down to 12 or 8 or 9 seconds. But it takes around 10 seconds to kill a full health version of a Guardian. So, or a Royal Guardian, which is what's in the middle outpost. So it takes a few seconds to kill it, and then you won't have enough time to actually capture the outpost also. The reason I go to this one is because of this, the speed boost. So I'm able to take the speed boost here. Go to this outpost up here. I mean, this jump pad up here. Get ammo. Run across. He messed it up, so he has to die. That's not my fault. That's you. That's on you, dog. Pathetic. Try to get rid of these because they absorb shots and they can ruin the whole process when you're trying to take out an Imperial. And they also give you that blue circle that you see around there. It increases the cooldown. It speeds up the cooldown for my Primal Fire. And it also makes my dodge come back quicker. It also gives you a little bit of a damage boost. And it gives you a slight bit of a speed boost. It's like one of the strongest buffs in the game. And you get it by killing specific creatures. You used to get it when you killed the Imperial Guardian too, but it seems to be gone now. So the idea is to roll down back